Now, why is the church resembled by by rivers? I'm going to read you this verse from the book of Ecclesiastes, explaining to us why the church is the rivers. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 7. This is King Solomon. Says, all the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. To the place from which the rivers come, there they return again. I'll read it again. Ecclesiastes 1:7. All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. To the place from which the rivers came initially, there they return again. Where do the rivers come from? Originally they come from the sea. But there is a difference between the sea, the water of the sea, and the water of the river. The water of the sea is salty, but the water of the river is sweet. Why? Because God has a beautiful process called distillation performed by the sun, S-U-N. When the sun strikes the water of the sea, because of the heat, that water at the surface level begins to evaporate. When the water evaporates, becomes lighter. So the vapor is lighter than liquid water. So vapor water is lighter than liquid water. What happens to the vapor? Starts climbing, going up. As the vapor goes up, the higher it goes, the air becomes cooler, cold. When the cold air strikes that vapor, it turns into a cloud full of driplets of water. But this water now is sweet because it was distilled from the water of the sea, which was salty. God changes the salty water into sweet by directing immense heat on it. What did the Lord Jesus say to the 12 apostles? He said, you were of the world, but now you are no longer, because I have chosen you from the world. You belong to me, no longer to the world. Now, earlier, what is the world resembled by? The sea, salty water. Why the world is resembled by the sea, salty water? Because the more you drink from the salty water, the thirstier you become. People of the world are never content with their life. Whatever they do, they are never happy. They'll say, when I get $1 million in my account, then I'll be happy. The $1 million comes, they want more. When they get a house, they'll say, I'll be happy. They get the house, but they want more. They want more and more and more. And until they die, they keep on asking for more. Why? Because they've chased salty water. The more you drink, the thirstier you become. It's a never-ending story. You're wasting your life, your breath, chasing emptiness, vanity, the world. But what happens? The Lord directed the sun's heat onto that sea. The sun here represents trials, tribulations, hardships, because when the sun burns me, it is very painful. So many people get skin cancer by exposing their body for too long under the sun. It is extremely painful when you get struck by the sun. So the sun here are the trials, the tribulations, the persecutions you go through for the sake of the Lord Jesus. It is not easy to turn your back to the world and give your face to Christ. It takes a lot of persecutions, tribulations, and hardships. Not easy to give up on the pleasures and the treasures of the world to gain Christ. But blessed are you when you choose to go through hardships for the sake of the Lord, for you will be turned into sweet waters, no longer salty. No longer salty. But remember, that sweet water, where is it now? High up in heaven. God has lifted you up from the filth of this world, the sea. God has raised you from the grave. God has raised you from your sinful nature, from your sinful status. God has taken you out of the pit into the heaven of all heavens. Pure, white cloud. And the color white represents righteousness. The Lord rose from the dead on the third day, dressed up in white. But it takes a lot of hardships, because you need to carry the cross. It is the cross that purifies you. It is the cross that does the distillation process by changing you from worldly, the sea, salty water, into heavenly cloud. Saints, from sinners into saints. From earthly to heavenly, from materialistic people to spiritual beings. Spiritual.